Anyways, last match of the night, and man, this is probably going to be the Diamond Grand Finals match. It's going to be KrazyCaley versus Canadian Bacon.
Well, I mean, technically, a couple of...
I did say probably.
Technically, a couple of incredibly handsome play-by-play guys do have a chance.
Well, thank you.
Still,
that's so nice of you to say that about me. You didn't need to say that.
I didn't know Hummus was playing this year.
Surprise!
Technically, some other people do have a road to the finals, but Bacon is in a commanding position. Caley basically already all but clinched already, and Bacon very close to clinching. Certainly can clinch a spot in the finals with a win here tonight. And Bacon has not made the finals in SCL yet. Caley has not made the finals in SCL yet. Yeah. He plays Caley pretty tough generally. He plays a very strange style, and his Spy this season in particular has gotten much better. This is the best I think he's ever played Spy. And there's no better skill to be working on if you're trying to defeat someone like KrazyCaley.
Absolutely.
So I am going to be actively rooting against our good friend Canadian Bacon because a win tonight closes off my very narrow path to the finals.
All right.
I suppose that's fair. Let's get into the picks and the bans. KrazyCaley goes ahead and bans Modern, any 5 of 8. Canadian Bacon bans, I love this ban, Courtyard, any 4 of 7.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this real briefly here. Caley, well, we saw what happened on Modern with KCM. I think he's just like, nah, I'm good. Let's not go back. Let's not have any PTSD flashbacks about that Spy game. It's just a mess. And, there are plenty of other options anyway. I don't think it's so much about the Bacon thing. He did ban Modern when they played each other in week 1, by the way, which Caley won 7-3. And his reasoning, he was very plain about it. He said, I don't know if there's any kind of weird pathing, necromancy here that Bacon, with all his pathing and AI knowledge, is going to exploit me for with a brand new map that I haven't studied very much. He might already be an expert on it. So I don't want to take any chances there. Combine that with some of the results recently on Modern, and it's just a no-brainer pick for Caley. As for Bacon, you don't want to let Caley play his standard sniper game. You don't want to give him those easy sniper wins on a map like Courtyard. You want to force him out of that comfort zone. So both these bans make perfect sense.
Well, let's talk about the picks then. KrazyCaley's doubled pick is none other than not Library, but Veranda, any 5 of 8. Canadian Bacon's pick for his doubled map is Ballroom, any 4 of 8. Kind of a classic SpyParty. KrazyCaley's singular pick is Library, any 5 of 8. So all of Caley's picks and bans are 5 of 8 maps. And finally, Canadian Bacon rounds out our draft with Balcony, any 2 of 3.
You go back 2 seasons, and Bacon is probably picking Balcony first, something like that. But Caley's okay at Balcony. He recognized, I think a couple seasons ago even, that it was a bit of a weak spot, and you didn't want to have to ban it, and you're not going to be able to ban it all the time. So play a bunch of Balcony, get at least okay on it, right? So It's not much of a weakness. And that's fine with Bacon too. Ballroom, on the other hand, that's just a standard Bacon pick. He plays, I mentioned, really strong Spy this season in particular. A lot of that has happened on Ballroom. There's a lot of cover there. He's gotten a lot of games in, a lot of practice in on it. Ballroom is his map this season.
Once upon a time, KrazyCaley was Balcony, and then the Millennium streams happened.
Well, I don't know how many of those resemble Balcony games. But then how many Balcony games resemble real human Balcony games? So maybe it's not as different as we think.
Yes. I think that's well put. Let's get into... Well, I was going to say we should start the first game, but I suppose nobody can see it, which seems to be kind of important. So, boom! Got the scoreboard, got it all up. Take it away, folks.
Oh, man, I'm so excited for this game. This is going to be some high-level stuff. Strap yourselves in, because it's time for some diamond-level SpyParty in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And I'm going to unabashedly and unprofessionally root for Caley here.
Yeah.
Normally I like the underdog stories, but right now...
We have a swap! We have a swap! I don't think Bacon... Nope, never mind.
All over.
Bullets, we got there.
It wasn't the swap that did it. It was the leave.
Yeah. I agree.
It's not the crime, it's the cover-up. That's what it is. The cover-up is always worse than the crime. So many of these early white swaps, the player gets shot because they try to get out of there too quick. That's not going to happen. Look at this. It's 3:45 when he does it. I don't care how fixated Bacon is on the left. He's not going to not notice you at statues ever. You just have to live with the white swap possibility.
Okay, so here's what happened. KrazyCaley got the swap and started doing the normal thing, which is I'm just going to inspect some statues.
Yeah, and then he thought, no.
Gets the one inspect done, realizes, wait a second.
Yep.
Bacon still hasn't rotated to check statues. I can still get out of here and not be seen. Tries to get out of there and not be seen. And maybe gets caught on laser lag?
Yeah, there are two problems with that. First is when you said wait a second, that second is enough.
Yeah.
you can't wait a second. You don't have that kind of time. Also, Bacon doesn't loop all the way around, but if you look at around 3:51, he does get Caley's head into frame. He probably sees him even then. So I think Caley was probably way off. I think he was going to be seen regardless before he decided the inspect, and certainly afterwards.
I agree.
So just an error there. I think kind of a questionable decision at all to go for it, but I can understand it. I think that kind of rush swap makes a little more sense on a map where that's the only hard tell you have to do. But on this one, you're going to get stared down maybe the rest of the way. But all the other things after it, definitely a mistake.
All right.
Come on, Caley. Come through for me.
Stepping into the next one, we got Caley on the sniper side. This is where he's the most comfortable. But Bacon, as you've been saying, has been doing a lot of spy practice. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
You know, my favorite part of that was that your entire build-up about high-level diamond play was longer than the first diamond player game.
You're not wrong. But then again, Caley does this stuff all the time on the spy side.
Yeah, and by this...
It's his thing. He's so good at the sniper side of this game that he doesn't need to get lots of spy wins by you.
Just one, usually.
To get some. And being aggressive is the best way to make sure you get at least something by your opponent.
Yeah, so we mentioned earlier that the only threat to you when you get a low light is that you usually, other than, of course, the white purloin on library. But generally speaking, if you get missions done, you're probably going to win. That has probably never happened to Caley. He doesn't really time out.
34% on the first flirt for Canadian Bacon, and is just hanging out in an innocent conversation, letting Caley build up his suspects.
Yeah, Bacon does like the slow rush. That's aggressive idling early in the game. Just enough progress that if he wants to rush a few missions late, he can. Maybe he's low lit at that point, but here's the thing. Caley is not one to behaviorally low light. He's not playing KCM here. He's not playing Veery. He's not playing someone who's going to say, you know, that person hasn't really done anything. Low light. That's not how Caley works. Caley works mechanically. So Bacon's style of, you know, do things late because maybe I've got a low light and I don't have much suspicion, I don't think that's a great fit against Caley.
Unfortunately, hits a red test on a flirt at the windows there, so that could have been something. Caley is not one to track flirts either. He's busy tracking literally everything else.
Yeah, but the reason it matters is because, like Gallery and certain other larger maps, not getting those flirts in, you can have a lot of trouble just kind of chasing your seduction target around. A red flirt can actually hurt you quite a bit.
This is very true. Contact comes off, Caley instantly gets 3 lowlights and eventually gets a 4th.
If it wasn't perfect, it was close. The number of lowlights there. It was actually a pretty good banana bread for Veranda, but here's the thing, it has to be a good one because Caley is really good. He's got that good photographic memory where he takes a snapshot of the party when it happens and can take the next 5 or 6 seconds judging, looking around for hardtails, and then coming back and getting the lowlights a second or two later. That is actually one of the more underappreciated parts of his sniper game.
Bacon definitely behind the curve here. 1:30 left to play. We've got the contact done and 1 flirt. Stepping in for the second now.
Behind the curve, behind the 8 ball, he's just behind. He needs to get
and behind the conversation.
Yes.
Second flirt is another white test up to 68%. But this is a difficult first spy game for Bacon. It's a bug. He didn't take it.
Nope, didn't take it, and it's a good decision. Caley's actually pretty darn good at catching even a bug like that that's relatively covered. What I'm interested in is why Bacon would go into that conversation and give Caley any kind of credit on that flirt rather than almost insta-talk. He kind of waited.
Bacon at green bookcase picks up a fingerprint and sets it right back down again.
Red dress, red test does not get the fingerprint there. It was a difficult. I don't think it would have helped that much anyway, but it's big trouble now. He's probably going to have to time out.
Yeah, the only other thing you can do is, like, show a mission and hope Caley takes a bad shot, but that's very hard to... Oh, God, that's...
Yeah, Smallman has been to statues twice, though, and Caley is watching him very closely. If you're going to show a mission, you want it to be around him.
It's too late for that now, though. He's walking, and there's not any time left.
Green purloin.
Green purloin. He's going to time ad at the end here, but
look at that.
Doesn't get the time ad off in time, as Caley is very ready to take a shot on Smallman, but it doesn't wind up happening. It's 1-1.
You get a little more progress early. You hit that purloin earlier, maybe. And as long as he can't rule out Smallman for it, he probably takes that shot. 2 statue visits from someone like Smallman and a possible banana bread. Really easy to credit the bug, too, to a character like that. That's rough. I think if you get a little more mission progress, obviously, if it goes into overtime, even if you're at statues or something, it's just a pretty good chance you're going to shoot him. Wow.
Yeah.
Just got to get that mission progress. Got to get it.
Well... It's 1-1. Everything's going according to plan for Caley so far, as he steps into the spy side against Canadian Bacon in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now, I mentioned Bacon playing a much better spy. It has to be said, correspondingly, his sniper play has suffered a little bit this season. The fact that he's had to be a good spy, basically, to compete as well as he has.
And please bear in mind that Bacon's sniper game suffering is a very relative term.
Yes. He's still an excellent sniper, and he's excellent because he's very hard to game plan against. It's not like with Caley where you know what he's going to be watching and you know what the moment of truth is. Bacon will win games where you got maybe 2 hardtails by him because he notices something minute that you didn't even realize you'd done sometimes. So he can be a very unnerving sniper to play against because, unlike Caley, you don't always know why you lost.
Caley with green book in hand and 51% off of this first flirt. Very good bouncing around the conversation, though, as he steps into red bookcase to pick up a transfer.
Looks clean.
Looks very clean. And now it's back in the conversation into the exact same spot for the next flirt. It's a white test this time, up to 85%.
And a little more idling than we're used to seeing from Caley here.
Yeah, that's true.
Still plenty of time, though. He did get the microfilm done. Well, did try something there. Tried the bug.
Well, it's not a Signerf game, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, the party is not usually that friendly to you.
2 minutes and 5 left on the clock. Selection timer should be cooling down soon. There's a white purloin. There's the flirt getting finished up.
I think Bacon must see it by now. I think so.
He hasn't really reacted.
No, and he wouldn't necessarily. Hard to say, but he did actually get a decent angle where he didn't have to zoom to see the tray, which is nice.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little harder to tell.
This is true.
Still hasn't moved from that spot.
Minute and 30 left on the clock. He's got 3 missions done. Bug is still on the table. Contact is still on the table. And fingerprint is still on the table as he picks one up at the red bookcase here.
And now he's got options. There's only a minute left, but that's plenty of time. Unfortunately, he has no statue visits yet. So I don't know. I don't think you're going to be able to rush 2 inspects unless you do one basically right now.
Yeah, I think Caley's probably going to try to get this done with no inspects. Already has 2 hardtails done. Might be able to get a contact here, and he does go for it indeed. It is a white test. Not bad either. 3 lowlights, 4 lowlights, 5 lowlights actually. That's a bit much.
Yeah, 2 of them late statue visitors, but that matters a little less against someone like Bacon, I would say. Clearly just going to go look for a fingerprint. Here's the question. What's it going to be? Is it going to be a briefcase? Is it going to be that book she's putting back or could put back?
Probably red bookcase. It's only 20 seconds left to play, but the briefcase is still less favorable than the bookcase is. No, he's going for the briefcase here.
It would have been his 3rd visit to red bookshelves. Moment
That's
of truth.
true.
No overtime here.
The briefcase. No shot as of yet. Oh, that was a bad return!
There it is. What did I say about Bacon? He'll get you on something little at the very end. It's entirely possible that Caley got away with 98% of that game, including a white purloin almost in his face, but that a little thing like the return at the end might be enough to do him in.
Wow, man, oh man, oh man, gets everything by until 2 seconds left on the mission win countdown where he stops too early on the return and takes a bullet for it.
That's why he's so weird to play,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's why he's scary to play sometimes. With Caley, it's like if you think you've gotten the hardtail by him, you're probably going to win. It's just really hard to do that. With Bacon, like that game, you'll get 2 hardtails by him, but the list of things you have to not screw up is pretty long. It's a little easier to get any one thing by Bacon, but you got to get them all by him sometime.
Oh, man. Okay. So, it's 2-1 in Bacon's favor. Caley on the sniper side of Veranda in the last game of the map. Bacon on the spy in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Slow start from Bacon. Just finishing his drink at an innocent window, and then steps into the bookcase.
And I want to see if this is the same problem. You know, he had a little trouble finishing last time. We saw that some of the party goers were suspicious, might have been shot if enough missions had gotten done. And if Bacon puts this back, he'll have basically spent the first 45 seconds or so doing nothing.
Yeah, very slow start from Bacon. Gets bounced into the conversation next to a seduction target. That's a nice little move that probably isn't going to win you any favors against KrazyCaley, but is nice nonetheless. Picks up a white test on the first flirt for 34%.
Yeah, a little bit of progress, but this is not a lot. We're already down to about 245 here.
Yeah, this is
Bacon
a very slow start from Bacon.
Goes for a briefcase and gets beat to it by someone else at the party. Bacon doing the kind of things that Bacon might lowlight for, but not the kind of things that Caley is going to care a whole lot about.
Indeed. Nice close green on the next flirt brings us up to 85%. But 85% is not a mission completion, and we only have 2 minutes and 20 left to play.
Yeah, we're looking at possibly the old wait and rush again.
Looks like he's setting up for a time ad here at the side windows. I'd like to see him doing a little bit earlier this time, but maybe not.
It's a good time to do it, and it's just a little after the minute mark, so it won't lead to beeps near each other for the minute marker. So you generally do want to do it a little after a minute mark, I think.
Picks up a fingerprint on a drink, which is very nice. Doesn't take a time ad, though. Only 1 minute and 30 left to play, and not a single completion out of a necessary 5.
We got partial progress on 2. I'd feel a lot better if he had an inspect or something in. Let's see what the options are.
Well,
bug path, no bug.
He is stepping into statues just now. Here's the pair of inspects coming off. So, 1 minute to play, still no completions.
Yeah, but partial on 3, so this could happen in a hurry, especially if the ambassador picks up a statue and you get 2 for 1.
Well, there's that first one coming down as the inspect comes off. Bug is still on the table. Contact is still on the table.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You get the BB done, technically, Amba picks up statue, you have inspect, fingerprint, and swap in one location.
Indeed. Picking up the fingerprint right here and now, though, with the briefcase. That was too close to be picking up that briefcase, I think, but didn't get caught by Caley.
And the end of red.
Contact comes off.
It's got to be inspect swap now.
Statues. It has to be inspect swap, but he might not get there in time. 12 seconds. Now 10 seconds. It's going to be overtime. Hasn't gotten there. Here's
Nothing.
The inspect.
Nothing else is fighting for Kaylee's attention. Seriously, right?
Here's
That's the problem.
Swap.
Nothing's
and that's
going on.
Just a bullet.
Yeah. There's just, I mean, it's a risky thing in general. It's a risky thing in general against Caley, and it's well nigh impossible when the party is not helping you out there at the end. If you don't get that rush of activity, that's pretty much just death, especially at that statue. I understand the kind of white swap in the face strategy, to be a little unexpected, but there were just no other big suspects doing missions at the end anyway, so it just wasn't going to happen.
So despite a very close call for KrazyCaley, I guess a close call for Bacon, we do come out of veranda squared at 2. Now we step into the next one, which is the ballroom. This is Bacon's map. KrazyCaley starting things off on the spy side. Bacon on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, hard to be too disappointed if you're Bacon. I mean, Caley very nearly won and you stole one from him, and you split his map. So that's not necessarily a problem.
Absolutely. KrazyCaley starting things off at the statues for an early flirt and a pair of inspects. Early flirt was a white test, by the way, to bring it up to 34% with a green swap. That's risky, but that's what Caley is all about.
Just doing stuff, man. Just
doing stuff.
Just do some stuff. When in doubt, do some stuff.
Here's the swap coming off. Oh, yep. 2 swaps, 2 shots.
Yep. Bacon says, that changed. Was it you? I think it was you.
Yep. And it was.
It was.
And it was. KrazyCaley, despite a close one, hasn't been able to get any by Bacon as of yet. Nor has Bacon been able to get any by Caley, but he might be able to have a go at it here. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Caley's come closer, certainly, but he's also just, swapped really brazenly twice, and we've gotten some very quick shots off.
Hey, one of them was a green test.
That's true. Although I love at this level, sometimes the green tests are worse than the white. In fact, I would say about half the time it's suboptimal.
33% on the first flirt for Canadian Bacon, and he is hanging out.
Yeah, this is becoming a bit of a theme, a little bit of a pattern here.
Yeah. Slow spy games for Bacon, but that is okay.
Well, it works a little better on ballroom than it does on veranda. Sometimes, yeah, you have one fewer mission to do.
Ambassador is in a very buggable position if he goes to the backside after this statue.
Yeah, but Caley is really watching it. Caley knows that. One of the things that makes Caley good is not just catching stuff. It's knowing where to look in the first place. Knowing what a vulnerable position looks like. And that means knowing that when an ambassador is in a place like that, they're going to turn either left or right. And if they turn left around the back of that conversation, there are going to be maybe 3 people with chances at almost invisible bugs. So you have to anticipate that. You can't just watch where the ambassador goes. You have to watch where the ambassador could go.
Second flirt comes off for good Sir Bacon to pick up 82% off of this green. 2 minutes left to play, no completions yet, but again, we've got some progress to play with, and the ambassador is getting a bit snuggly. Not a good position for a bug. Oh! I thought I misread the timeline. I thought he tried a bug right after I said he shouldn't, but everything's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're good. So this is actually one area where you like being up against a great sniper. You don't like it 99 times out of 100, but one thing you like is that when you're near the ambassador and you don't bug, you can be relatively confident that they don't think you did.
Yep. Third, flirt has come off to finish that mission up. But there's no other progress and only 1 minute and 15 now to play.
Yeah, and even though you can rush a little more easily at the end of Ballroom than you can a Veranda game, you don't have that much time. You got to do something pretty soon here. Although, sometimes you BB and you show a hardtail like Purloin, and sometimes that's enough.
Side statue visit to take a fingerprint.
Pretty long delay. I think that fingerprint's been sitting there for probably maybe 1.5 minutes almost. So
yeah,
even if Kaylee's kind of on it, not too much suspicion for that. But you need to find another one real quick. Now
you need to get back into the statues. I think you might just have to time ad here because this is a difficult situation.
I don't know what you do here. Inspect, swap, and then BB.
You get a difficult fingerprint at the back, but he doesn't hit it. Takes a swap instead, but that's not going to finish it.
No, no, it's not. He'll get the inspects done, but even if we're the last mission, I'm not sure if he'd have time. No BB yet.
Bacon still has, Cameron still hasn't seen that statue, but the contact comes off. It was a fake one, but in with that suspected double agent, and the shot comes off anyways.
I think a lot of the things Bacon is doing in these games would be better earlier in the game. I think the decisions themselves are not necessarily a problem. The problem is where they're slotting on along the timeline.
I agree. I completely agree. But Caley is scary. And now he's back on the spy, and hopefully he doesn't do another early swap with Bacon on the sniper. 3, 2, 1, playing it. Looks like he wants an early bug. Yep, he wanted an early bug. Nope, not gonna happen.
Okay, so here's the problem, I think. This looks way too calculated.
Yeah.
Early chaos bugs can be very powerful, especially in Ballroom, because if you get away with them clean, you basically win the game if you don't screw up. Although against someone like Bacon, it's harder than most.
That just took too long, though.
Yeah, you cannot decide to do it no matter what before the game starts. You can say, if I have a chance, I might do it, right? This just felt like I really want to do this. So even though he starts off kind of close, but you see here, let's look at this. It takes him 8 seconds into the game and a lot of movement, and the amba's right there at Windows. The bug itself is not bad, but I think the problem is deciding to do it even when the party kind of throws up a couple roadblocks. There's a couple collisions there that makes it a little harder, and it just takes too long. I think you need to be ready to do it, but if the party throws those roadblocks up, you gotta mix it up and change your mind. Yeah,
it wasn't a bad run at it, but just not fast enough.
Just really premeditated, I think. Yeah.
Not Kaylee's best work on the spy side so far, but again, you just have to get one of these by Bacon to make it happen. If he manages to keep up what he wants to keep up on the sniper side of things. But he keeps being tested, and so far, he's been passing, but how long can it last? Bacon is going to try to see if he can make it shorter in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, it's funny from
Not one of my best sentences.
That's okay. Kaylee, he's probably sitting there thinking, geez, like I'm rushing these hardtails and he's catching me for them, even though he's not, really a camper by any stretch of the imagination. And then I have that game where I stretched everything out and he caught me for something at the very end. What do I got to do?
Yeah. Well, if you're KrazyCaley, you just keep doing stuff, and eventually something's going to get there. But in a 12-game match, you've got 6 spy games. Maybe against someone like Bacon, 6 isn't enough. We shall see.
And stop me if you've heard this one. Bacon's not doing much.
Nope. Very slow start, just now getting his first anything done, but it is a green flirt for 40%.
Well, might as well be a standard white. Really not that much better. Still looking at 3 flirt territory.
Indeed. And Kaylee's not a person who does flirt pairings anyway, so...
Yeah, you're not going to get
really
credit for
matter.
spacing out late or anything like that. It's just not going to match.
Yeah. That was a weird path.
Yeah, let it be known, even diamond level players will make mistakes, and even expert pathing snipers will take bad paths. It happens. This game is hard, you guys.
But also, I think Bacon knows that
Yeah.
most paths, unless it's really blatant, aren't going to matter against Kaylee.
Especially on Ballroom. Yeah, you can let your guard down a little bit and focus more on game planning than execution, I think.
Even campers will do hard tells. I like that. 91% on the flirt and a fake contact coming off. Wow, low lights, man. Got a couple of them. Not a ton.
Not bad. No, it's not a ton, but here's the thing. Nothing getting done.
Yeah. And if Kaylee doesn't see anything he wants to shoot for, he's not going to show. Oh, God. That was a red contact.
Completely behind the pillar, but that doesn't mean he can't get 4 or 5 low light from the people who did not cough behind a pillar. So he's got this very effectively narrowed down now.
There are 5 people who are not low lit right now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is rough.
That's the situation we're in. We only have 2 completions, and one of them's a flirt.
Now, the queen is high lit for a statue visit, but I think Kaylee's probably going to remember she went to side statue, so she couldn't be done with inspects either. So who are you going to frame here, if anyone?
Yeah.
Even if you induce a shot, even if you get a green purloin or something, then what? Kaylee can probably pretty confidently hold his shot there, even if he sees that.
Indeed. And it's going to be a white purloin. This is a good map for it, but Kaylee sees it. And he's so confident no one's done that he's just taking lowlights.
Well, because he's been highlighting for statues, there's 1 statue highlight left, and they didn't go to center. So if he remembers that, how could they be done?
Has it down to 3, and just lets the timer tick down.
Yeah.
Fingerprint on the drink, but it's not enough.
So imagine if he'd gotten that fingerprint earlier. Would he have shot then? I think he might have gotten away with one. I think he had probably had a couple opportunities early in that game to get a fingerprint in that first 2 minutes that he burned doing very little. I think he probably could have gotten to try for a difficult print or even gotten a briefcase. I don't know if Kaylee would have shot him there for a print white purloin. I'm not really sure.
Well,
hard to say.
I mean, if it was a difficult print, I can see it happening, but Kaylee guards prints.
Yeah, no, he does. But there's a lot to guard. And if you're going to get something by, it's probably more likely to be that. I think at that point, though, if you're not going to do anything anyway, you can try for those difficult prints. You know, there's not a lot of downside to it, I don't think. So
this is true. Especially when you're taking a bunch of time out to do nothing anyways.
Right. So maybe take a couple cracks at it. If you're going to go into the wait then rush, you know, maybe you don't do it at all. But if you're going to do this kind of game plan, there should be some benefits to it. There's a couple things you can do in the meantime. Obviously, you get flirt done reasonably well. And hopefully, maybe you take a crack at a fingerprint or 2.
It's still SpyParty, tied up at 4 going into the library. So far, everything is going according to plan for Kaylee. Except maybe his spy games have been a little bit shorter than he would have liked. Let's see if this one is as well. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Bacon does not get the spy win he wanted on his map choice. A map good for spy wins in general.
Indeed. Kaylee starts things off with 51% flirt at the blue bookcase and blue book in hand. Does he take it out? Doesn't look like he will. He's been here too long. Just sets it away and immediately shuffles over to side statue.
Interesting. I was wondering if he was going to go for the briefcase there instead.
Just takes the fingerprint so far.
Well, he could do it. He could do the case right afterwards. In fact, I feel like he might be obligated up unless someone else picked it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually when you don't take the briefcase first, it means you're not expecting to be able to get it after.
Yeah. And I don't know if you'd want to, because you might feel obligated. The next thing you know, you've done back-to-back fingerprints early on in library, and maybe you're a big suspect already.
Lots of progress early on. 2 inspects, half a flirt, and half a fingerprint.
And it's actually pretty decent progress here because of that green flirt. Still plenty of time.
Banana bread.
Contact comes off. 1 low light, 2, and a highlight.
3, I think, total. He got general there. I don't know how confident he...
I think one of those was an SDA, but I'm not sure.
You might be right, yeah.
Either way, pretty darn good contact as well as a bad highlight.
Yeah, because it could have been a split into statues. You just couldn't credit it. It was a very good banana bread, and that's good progress now. I got that second flirt done, too.
Yeah, up to 79%, which is still plenty as we step into green bookcase for the second fingerprint. Caley's making stuff happen this game.
Yeah, just very, very good steady progress, and you can clearly see just a complete 180 from some of those early games rush missions, which I actually think is a very understandable thing to try once, maybe even twice against Bacon, because again, he's the kind of player who's going to be watching for other stuff, and sometimes it leaves things like swap or purloin or microfilm wide open. But in this case, clearly deciding, you know what, I think even though Bacon's not much of a camper, he's still good enough to catch that stuff, even though it's not his style. He's nailing me for it really hard. Maybe space this one out. Maybe make this a pacing game.
There's the end of the flirt as we step back into statues to finish up the inspect. This is going to be the 4th completion.
Taft, inspect swap. This is the character you do it with. He loves to do it. He loves to do it on library. He's got the character.
There it is. The white swap. 1 minute left to play. Bacon looked at it, but isn't taking the shot. 2 seconds.
Doesn't see it.
1
No.
second.
Not looking at all.
Win for KrazyCaley. Everything is going according to plan.
Yeah, according to plan, meaning I got my spy win. Very often, that is, Caley gets a big win with an assist from Taft's corpulence.
Yeah. All right. Now, KrazyCaley just has to keep holding on as the sniper, doing what he does best. But Canadian Bacon has got something to say about it. Let's see exactly what those words are. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, this is not the position you want to be in where you need a spy win against Caley to force a draw, potentially, to keep it going, to avoid a loss. That's not the position you want to be in, and it's on his map, too.
Starting things out with that quick 51% flirt. Not something Bacon has done, really, for the rest of this map, but he's in there early this time.
So I think it was when they played Library. It was either earlier in the SLC. It was actually post-Steam streams that they did together. I remember Bacon actually, even though it wasn't his choice here, even though this is a map Caley likes, I remember Bacon actually got pretty steady mission progress against Caley in that game. Got away with a lot of microfilm, for example. I don't know why, but even though he seems to prefer Ballroom, just he's pretty good at his pacing on Library sometimes.
Well, he's taken his time this time around. After that quick flirt, decided to really slow it down and just hang out in this conversation and watch the party a bit.
Yeah, good in a vacuum, but you've been trying that all set. And I think at this point, you really got to show some completion.
Yep.
Mission wins are big.
Oh,
they
hello.
force... Yeah, they...
Wrong bug! And
Totally
it
off
wasn't
screen.
on camera!
Not even a little bit. Totally clean. Totally clean. Not even seen like just after it happened and maybe he bugged. He was a good distance away by the time it happened.
Probably didn't want the wrong arm bug, but when it's way off camera like that, it does not matter. There's the contact coming off. Lots of low lights, but we've got 1 hardtail done already. We need 1 more.
I think both General and Slim could have split. I think that's a bit of a... I don't think they're 100% hard low lights. Definitely calculated risks there. I have no problem with it. But on a map like Library, sometimes you have to fudge that just a little bit.
There's the flirt finished up. 2 minutes left to play. 1 hardtail and a set of inspects to acquire.
And yeah, he's got 2 minutes to do it. So I don't know if I'd advocate Inspect Swap, but Inspect Swap is so much more powerful with close to 2 minutes left than it is in the last minute. They're not going to be staring it down the same way necessarily. But look at this party. He got a good number of lowlights from all those.
Absolutely.
And no highlights. No highlights.
Bacon in a very good position against KrazyCaley here. He just has to find one more hardtail.
But here's the thing, too. Have people even been going to statues? Were there like 2 visitors and they both got knocked out by that banana bread? It's shocking, really.
There's not a single highlight here.
Yeah, and I don't think he missed anything either. I think there were only a couple to begin with, and then they both got knocked out. That is rough. Green time ad. Dangerous. Caley is really good at these. It's one of his unheralded talents. He's good at a lot of stuff, but the thing where he gets scary is when he gets low lights off time ads. Here it comes.
Here's the low lights coming off.
Boom, boom, boom. The lights go out. There it is.
It's down to 5. It's down to 5 on library.
Most of what Caley does is something that we can all do to some degree, but he does it 10 or 20% better, and that's what makes him good. One of the few things that I feel is more uniquely Caley's skill, more than most snipers, is the crazy number of lowlights he can sometimes get off those green time ads.
And, oh God! Okay, it's a briefcase. Jesus Christ, man.
You thought that was a big moment. Do you remember that happened? KCM did a green time ad in that veranda match that we casted, that hype match a couple weeks ago, as Slim, I think it was, on veranda, and Caley got something like 12 lowlights in the first 30 seconds of the game off a simple time ad.
Picks up a briefcase on the fingerprint. It wasn't a great return, but I don't think that's the kind of thing that Caley is going to shoot for.
So you need a fingerprint and you need inspects.
Well, here's the inspects coming off. 40 seconds to play. So
it's fingerprintable.
It's the fingerprint. It's the inspects. Caley highlighted him, but there's no shot forthcoming. He's got a little bit of time. But this is going to be the game right here in 10 seconds if Caley doesn't take a shot, and I don't think he's going to. No,
if he were going to shoot, he would shoot by now. Obviously, he's good enough to wait a few extra seconds to make sure that nothing happens. But if he hasn't shot it by the 5-second mark, it's over. There it is. There's your spy win.
And Caley, according to him in chat, misremembers the fingerprint.
Look, you can track a lot of things. Caley's got a tremendous memory, but there's so much going on library. You can't do it. You just can't track all of it forever all the time. You just can't. There's too much. It's an overload. We talk all the time about how what stops camping, even really good camping, it's just more stuff. It's just throwing more stuff at them. And there are so many fingerprints sometimes that it's just one thing too many.
Eventually, something's going to break.
Yeah. We're human, right? If it were 4 out of 20 missions, camping would not be viable, right?
Yeah.
At 4 of 8, it is. So obviously there's a sweet spot in there where you throw a certain number of memory items at someone and, it just starts to break down after a while. In this case, he still almost caught it, it feels like. But
yeah, it was close.
That was what Bacon needed. It was steady progress. He waited a little long to get started, but it's almost like a switch flip after that. Like in all the other games where he had to get something going and he just waited another 40 seconds anyway, this time he said no. And it almost seems like it happened when that ambassador came to him and he took advantage with the bug.
We split the first map. Sniper wins and Sniper wins 2-2. We split the second map. Sniper wins and Sniper wins 4-4. We split the third map with Spy wins 5-5. And now the last 2 are balcony. And it's KrazyCaley to start off the festivities in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And if you're Bacon, you're thinking, geez, that inspect swap is Taft. I could be sitting here. I could be sitting on a clinch of the Diamond Finals, the championship for all of SpyParty SCL Season 4, if I just won that one sniper game with that body block swap.
I'm sure you're absolutely devastated.
I'm just terrible. Terrible. I wasn't cheering. I didn't mute my mic for a second. What are you talking about?
KrazyCaley picks up that first flirt for 51%. Not too early, though. So doesn't get highlight for second talker. And steps away earlier than a spy normally would as well.
Yeah, and there is a highlight. But that green flirt is a big deal, particularly against Bacon. Bacon, a very patient sniper on balcony. And if the AIs are active, if they could finish in the last 30 seconds, and they talk in the last 30 seconds, he'll shoot very often. So you either want to finish your flirt earlier, or just hope the party behaves relatively normally and play it cool.
Banana bread.
If he, ooh.
Oh, just a shot for the white contact. I think probably had him paired with the double agent and thought it could have been a 2-flirt.
Yeah, I don't know if he liked that pathing redirect into conversation at the beginning. I think he might have just not liked that stutter step.
And now it's Canadian Bacon on match point.
Yeah, that highlight.
5.
Oof. Yeah, it's pretty clear. So there's a weird path into conversation there, and then sort of a bump up against the couch at the end. And that's all he needs. That's all someone like Bacon needs. It's a couple pixels off, and he gets you.
Bacon on the spy side, playing for a win on balcony. Caley just trying to make sure everything goes according to plan for the draw. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Caley doesn't lose much, but he draws a lot. Bacon, if he can win this game, he gets highlight for Larry Talk, but if he wins this game, he is in the finals right here and now.
34% on the first flirt. And now we wait. Timer flirt is the plan for Canadian Bacon. Timer flirt and then step away. The standard spy game on balcony.
But
Let's see if it happens.
Caley knows it's the standard spy game, though. It can force him into a difficult shot, but still one he's usually going to take. The green will certainly help, though.
There's a very nice green contact.
It's about as good as you're going to hope.
15 left to play. Cooldown expires. There's the next flirt coming off immediately. Another close white. He finishes the talk and he steps away probably.
Maybe he could wait again. He'll be talking late, and that'll be suspicious in its own right. But it's not a lot to go on.
Here he goes. Steps out to the front of the party.
Ooh.
Goes for the briefcase to fill time.
And Caley knows full well Bacon can do that briefcase in his sleep. He's not going to neutralite him or anything, or really even reduce suspicion, I think.
There's the last flirt, and Caley takes the shot. Ladies and gentlemen, our preview, probably, for the Diamond Final ends in a draw.
Yeah, and not a boring draw with no spy wins. One where they trade spy wins on library, and Bacon flashes some serious skills and that improved spy game that I mentioned, certainly. And I think almost as significant, caught Caley doing those quick hardtails. Yeah. Even though that's not his game, you need to be able to defend against it at least. It can't be free. And the fact that he was able to fend that off is a really big warning shot there.
Holy heck. What a set of matches this evening.
Yep.
Yeah, really, really good set. And that now Bacon, so therefore, Bacon still controls, his fate here. If he can win in week 10 against Bloom, he's still in. In fact, I think basically any point at that point is going to do it. He tied Bloom in week 4. Bloom plays him tough. Win against Bloom is not a foregone conclusion, especially because Bloom has seemed to have gotten a little stronger as the season has gone on. Or at least that's what I told myself after he beat me rather soundly a couple weeks ago. But no, seriously, he has, I think, gotten a little stronger as the season has gone on, and still technically in the running for the finals. So that could be a very, very big match. Bacon's still in position. Again, if he just gets like one more point, he's in there. But if he loses, and I beat this gentleman here, Caley, if I beat him next week, no big deal. Not that hard. It happened a couple years ago last, I think it was. I'm not exaggerating. He has not lost this season, and he didn't lose last season either. Number of draws, but no losses. If Bacon loses and I win, it'll be me who's the sacrificial lamb in the finals this year.
It's gonna be me.
That's not a spoon song. Disqualified.
Ah, come on.
Yeah.
You gotta branch out just a little bit.
Right. So my reward, if I can beat him next week, is to play him again a couple weeks after. Good times. Good times.
That's how it works
But
around here.
yeah, but if Bacon beats Bloom, he's in anyway, and as he proved tonight, he would be a formidable opponent, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Man, I
good.
think Diamond is so stacked right now. I don't think it really matters who gets into the finals with Caley. It's gonna be
barn burner.
Fireworks.
It will be a barn burner, and Diamond is ridiculous. Diamond is terrible. It's jam-packed. You're never safe. Some of us are simultaneously playing for finals hopes and fending off hazard matches at the same time in week 9. Ridiculous. Abolish Diamond. Hashtag abolish Diamond. Sign my petition. Please don't make us do this anymore. It's not natural.
Yeah, but it's fun for us to watch. All right, so that brings us to the end.